the practice today is all about the last Guna, the Satvic Guna, and that is about harmony and inner balance. So we'll start with a quite unbalanced position. So I'd ask you to come onto your mat. You can choose to keep your legs close, your knees to touch, or you could choose to open your knees out wide, which I find, especially at the beginning, a little bit more comfortable. Placing your hands down flat onto the mat. Take a breath in. And as you're exhaling, just letting your hands slide a little bit further forward and easing your way downwards. And if you like, you can have little sideways movements, just like myself, finding a way to ease into the pelvis. You could come down onto your forearms. You can stack your hands. You can do anything here that feels right. But you could also choose to rest your forehead down. So you allow yourself to become a little bit comfortable in that downward facing hero or child's pose. Just taking a note of how you're feeling. Noticing the body. Noticing the mind. Your emotions. And noticing if those are more on the sides of your experiences. They're more on the side of feeling rather heavy, not so much keen on movement. Or if you are feeling more restless and maybe an urge to move. And the second idea is more rajasic. The first idea is more tamasic. And over the time of this class, we will tap into them all. We will move and flow. We will try and be grounded or still. And all of that we only do to come in the end towards a state of balance. Satvic. So allowing yourself to establish your breath, letting your breath become more deep, expanding the belly down into your thighs or towards the floor, expanding the ribs all the way out and up. And when exhaling, let everything come back in. And focus on that deeper breath for a few more rounds. Just noticing how it feels for you. If something changes over the time of just being in the shape and breathing, as you're allowing these ideas and concepts to stay present with you just for the reason of observing yourself, let your arms extend out towards the front. With your arms extended, ground down just through the palms of the hands and lift all of your fingers off the mat. And as you gently lower your fingers down, get a soft grip of the pads of the fingers, as well as keeping the palm down. And you will feel Hasta Bandha developing, that suction of the mat into the palm of your hand. As you then inhale, lift your hips away from your heels. Whether your knees are too close or too wide, just place them underneath the hips from there for a solid all four stance. While you next inhale, let your elbows soften, your tail lift, and your gaze come up. And when you're exhaling, straighten the arms and get a roundedness into your back. On the inhale, your elbows are softening, the tail and the gaze are lifting. On the out-breath, the arms are straightening, the back is deeply rounding. Keep that flowing for a few more rounds. With the deep groundedness through the hands and the legs, we're tapping into the element of tamas, stability. And with the movement through the spine and the breath, we're tapping into rajas. That is always moving, flowing. This combination could potentially lead to balance in the body through movement. When you're next exhaling and you're rounding your back, hold there, tucking the toes under, and slowly lifting your knees off the floor and even extending the legs up. Please feel free not to do that. So downward facing dog or Adho Mukha Svanasana. But if that's not right for you today, you could stay on all fours. And then starting to move your down dog as you could pedal into your legs, get a swing into the hips. Maybe walk out through your arms and your hands too. Just finding places to move from that feel right for your own body. And then walking your feet toward the front edge of your mat. While you have your feet parallel at about hip distance, let your hands slide up and find a half lift or Ardha Uttanasana, lengthening your back. And then soften the knees and fold again. Let the upper body just hang down heavily. On your next exhalation, start curling the body up into standing. And as you come to stand, just standing, you can stay at the front edge of the mat. I've just moved a little. Let your knees be soft. And start to move a little bit through the shoulders. Not really rolling, not really moving in any particular way, just an organic movement that's soft through your shoulders. And extend these movements right down through the elbows, the wrists and the fingers. And let all of that just simply flow for a moment. As if you were to dance with your arms. Then release the arms. And bring your hands to the side of the waist. Step your feet a little bit further apart and start to circle the pelvis. Either you're just isolating that, your knees would be bent for it, but you could also choose to circle your whole upper body. See what serves you better and go with that. Now changing the directions of the circles. And then centering the movement. Shifting your weight now over towards the left foot. As you bring your right foot in front, start to circle the foot here. Then change the directions of those circles. Then pause that. And softly kick just with the lower leg. Not much, just like with the shoulders, mobilizing the knee joint. As you straighten the leg out, start to swing the leg gently forward and back. We might increase that in a moment. So while you keep your right leg swinging forward and backward, let the arms release and let them swing as well. And then increase the movement if that works for you. Legs swinging higher, arms lifting up, legs swinging all the way forward and backwards. Just like in life, you might find that the balance here is quite hard to maintain. And then pause, bring your hands to touch at the heart, the leg is back, the gaze is down for warrior 3. If it throws you out of balance, have a giggle as well and find yourself within the balance again. Let's point the foot. Step the foot back Releasing your hands down, releasing your knee down, and you may untuck your toes. On a breath in, let's lift the arms up towards the ceiling. On a breath out, bring your hands down at heart center. As you're next exhaling, you may lean a little bit forward from your hips. If you do so, let this right side, the left side of the hip, draw gently back. So we're realigning, and you might find a deeper stretch in front of your right leg and hip. You can always choose, as you might be aware, that you stay here, or taking any of the following options. As you breathe out, to turn towards your left, so where the leg is in front. You could stay here, or you could breathe out and lean towards the thigh and potentially place your elbow on the outside of the knee. Lift the other elbow up so that the palms are more firmly together, but then also bring your elbow and your knee against each other so that we're not collapsed towards the thigh, but creating the lift with the pressure between elbow and knee, and the palms firmly touching might lift your chest further up towards your hands. A deeper twisted lunge. As you next inhale, release that by lifting the arms up. And as you breathe out, bring the hands down, the knee back, and the hips towards the heels, returning to an extended child's pose. On the inhale, come onto all fours. Either stay here or tuck your toes and exhale for downward dog. On your in-breath, roll the spine forward and come into a plank or a kneeling plank. Pausing here as you draw your tailbone to your heels and as you lift up in the space between the shoulder blades. On your next exhale, keep your elbows close by your side and come to lie down on your belly. Tops of the feet are flat, forehead is down, hands roughly underneath the shoulders and elbows by your sides. As you inhale, lift up for a baby cobra. So keeping it quite low to start with, leave your elbows in, the shoulders down. And if you want a bit more strength across your back, you can lift the palms of the hands off the mat. No need to go higher, has a different effect, and I will offer that in the next round. So holding your baby cobra for a little bit longer with or without the touch of the hands to the mat. As you then next inhale, push down into the mat, rise to all fours. As you breathe out, round your back and return to an extended child's pose. Inhaling onto all fours, draw the toes under and exhaling for a downward facing dog. Please feel free to move this downward facing dog once more if your body enjoys the movement. So listen foremost to the body before you start moving, but it's not necessary. So sometimes, as I said, we need more Rajas movement. Sometimes we need more stability of Tamas. From that place, walking your feet again to the front end of the mat. When you get there, take a half lift, lengthen your spine forward, breathe out to fold. As your body is hanging down and quite relaxed, your next exhalation comes and you're rolling back up into standing. Again, please stay standing at the front end of the mat. As you arrive in your mountain, bring the hands back into the side of the waist. Shifting the weight lightly to the right foot, and bring the left foot out in front and start to circle again. Changing direction. As you pause the circling, move on to lightly kicking or releasing the knee. So it's really just the lower leg that's moving here to get a feel for your knee joint. And then allow the leg to be straight and swing the leg forward and back. Release your arms and let the arms come back in as well. So with the leg and the arms swinging forwards and backwards, you could create a larger movement. Don't worry if you're falling out of balance. This is just made to make you aware that we aren't always in balance. And that keeping the balance is rather challenging. We'll do exactly that now as you leave the leg back. Bring your hands to touch and find a warrior 3 to stay in. Pointing the toes as you land the foot down, your hands down, and the left knee comes down. While you're inhaling, lift the arms up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We'll pause here, shoulders relaxed, hands are touching. And if your knee is okay, your hips are fine, you may lunge a little bit further forward. As you would do so, let the right hip gently come back. So just a couple of centimeters max, so that the pelvis is balanced again. And the stretch in the front of the thigh and the hip flexor might increase. Please feel free to hold here. Or inhale with me and exhale to turn to your right, so again towards the front knee. Again, a choice to stay. Or if you prefer, you can start leaning forward and maybe your elbow comes to touch the outside of the knee. Lift the other elbow towards the ceiling so the palms start pushing more together. And then create that strength between the elbow and the knee. That's the part that lifts you away from the thigh, lengthens the spine, and then deepens your twist. Let the breath flow as we hold. On your next inhale, release. Extend the arms up. On the exhale, bring the hands down, the knee back, the buttocks to the heels. Inhaling all fours. Tuck toes, exhale, down dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank or a kneeling plank and once more hold. Encourage your tail towards the heels. Strength in the arms, upper back. Breathe in. Breathe out while you lower. Keep your elbows nice and close and come to land down again on the front of the body. Forehead lowers. Hand position the same, just by your sides, roughly underneath the shoulders, elbows tucked in. As you inhale, lift again. Try a baby cobra. If you feel a deeper extension of the spine would suit, press down into your hands. But make sure that when you're deeper extending, first not harming yourself, but also shoulders down and elbows in. If you find over the course of the hold, this is getting too strong, you can always lower back down and even lift your hands off the ground. Let's stay here, breathing in and out, wherever you're at, fully extended cobra or the baby cobra. On the next inhalation, push the floor away to come to all fours. On the out, press your buttocks to the heels and extended child's pose. On the inhale, come on to all fours. Draw the toes under and breathe out for a downward facing dog. Let your breath flow in and out of the nose. Create the lift up from the tailbone for your down dog. And then begin to walk your feet forward again, bringing them slowly to the front edge of the mat. Take a half lift as you breathe in, fold forward as you breathe out. Once more, please take your time, starting to roll up into standing. Lift the arms as you breathe in. Bring your hands to an interlaced index finger touching Charlie's Angels Mudra. Poke the head through between the arms. As you're exhaling, bending to your right. Inhaling to center. Exhaling, bending to your left. Inhaling to center and repeat twice more to each side. Just a movement here. We call the palm tree. As you're swaying from one side to the other, increasing potentially the range of movement in the side body. As you come back up to the center, touch the palms of your hands together, lift your heart. And as you're exhaling, release the hands down upon your thighs, while you're bending your knees and your hips. If you prefer, your stance can be a little bit wider than hip distance, while your hands are resting down firmly in the middle of the thighs roughly. Coming back to cat-cow, as you raise your tailbone, open your belly, open your chest and then your gaze. As you breathe out, draw your tailbone under and very slowly create the roundedness of the spine. The last part to move is the head. Keep it this way. Keep the head low as your tailbone lifts on the inhale. The belly, the chest are opening, the gaze is lifting. And when you breathe out, draw the tailbone under again. Start to round the back and slowly release into a cat-like position. Keep moving like this for 3 more breaths. Keep leaning against the thighs to support you and think of the spine unfolding very slowly. And each time, the last thing to move is the head. As you keep the movement going, keep your focus on the movement of your spine. And there, with that, automatically, we've got the stability from the feet, we've got the movement of the back. And if we keep our awareness within all of this, we might feel a sense of inner balance. When you complete it, please neutralize your spine. Feel the feet again grounded down and use them to rise up from. Straighten your legs, lift your arms, open your front body. On the exhale, bring the hands to the heart and back into chair pose. On the inhale, push into the feet, extending. On the exhale, chair pose with your hands at your heart. One more round, inhaling to extend the body, maybe even a light back bend. And breath out to return to the chair. Hold your chair. You can adjust your feet if you're feeling unbalanced in the stance, rather feeling solid and strong. Keep your gaze lightly forward, the hands at the heart. Inhale. And on the exhale, twisting towards your left. You could stay right up here, or you could sit really low and bring the elbow back towards the outside of your knee if you choose to. In any case, take a look so that the right knee is still aligned with the left and doesn't come forward and make you sit there awkwardly. Please do feel free to hold right there. Or use your hands on the floor. As the next option is to lift the right heel. And then step the right foot back. You can ground the foot down for a side angle, or you can leave the heel off the ground. I'm so unbalanced right now. You can leave the heel off the ground for a lunge. Please remember, fun is the best to have. And if you're so unsteady, you can also lower your knee back down to the floor if that helps. Let's take a deep breath, lifting the arms, the gaze. On the exhale, bring the hands down, and you can choose to stay on the knees or come into downward dog. Let's take a breath in and roll forward, coming through a very slow, flowing practice, untucking the toes. On the exhale, lower on, or even just toward the mat. Breathe in, come into cobra or upward dog. And breathe out to find your way back, either over your toes or over your knees, and returning into the down dog. Again, if this is too much, please stay on all fours instead. Taking a deep breath in as you create space. Let the shoulders draw open, space coming into the upper back. On your next inhalation, let your right leg extend. On the out breath, bring your knee forward and aim to land this foot in between the hands. Lifting the back knee off the ground if it isn't already, and take your fingertips a little bit further forward. You're welcome once more to use a block here in front. And as you breathe in, lift the left leg off the floor. Find length in your spine and length in the back leg. As you inhale, you might bend your standing leg, or you stay there. And as you breathe out, straighten the leg and bring the hands to the heart, flex the back foot, warrior three. Let's land the foot down. Take a deep breath. Extend your body upwards. And have a sigh as you relax the body. Let's breathe in and out. And releasing the breath through the mouth after all of the balancing. You may do the same. Potentially just close the eyes for a little bit, or steady your gaze in front. Feeling the imbalances we've just created within our body. Knowing that that's more likely the state of our existence throughout the day. As this world and our mind draws us from being lazy to being overly active, and that in between we've got glimpses of the balance that we're really after. Perfectly normal and just a reflection of the life of the mat. As you're next inhaling, lifting the arms again, maybe your gaze comes up. Hands to the heart and another chair pose as you're breathing out. Use your feet as you're inhaling, lift to extend. On the exhale, bring the hands to the heart and return to the chair. We'll do that one more time. On the inhale, lift to extend. On the exhale, bring your hands to the heart and hold your chair. So you allow yourself to snuggle into your chair pose. Feel free to stay exactly here, or twist to your right on an exhale. If you would like to, you can bend your knees more. Maybe the elbow comes to the outside of the knee for that little traction of elbow and knee. Take a feel and then look down, balance your legs. You might be the left leg that comes unintentionally forward. So as we contain that, there's more leverage in the spine and a deeper twist. If you need support to step back, use your hands. Otherwise, lifting your left heel and then stepping the left foot back, either completely or the heel is off the floor, finding your twist. If that's difficult, just place the knee down into the ground and repeat the same lunge we've had before, just with a different point of entry. I am totally distracted. My few legs up into one tall palm tree and a kookaburra sits right in it. Let's take a breath on that. As you lift your arms, inhale. On the exhale, bring the hands down, the knee down, and then the hips back. And inhale to come again onto all fours, either to stay or downward dog on your out breath. Please feel free to rest out the flow. If you feel you would like to flow again, come with me as you inhale, roll it forward. Knees can always be on the mat. On the exhale, lower on or toward the mat. I'm keeping it quite gentle today as you inhale. Lift for cobra and upward dog. And on your out breath, find your way back, either onto all fours or into downward dog. Yours to choose from as you allow once more the spine to lengthen, the shoulders to open. With the next breath in, lifting your left leg up. On a breath out, bring the knee forward and then the foot. If the back knee is on the floor, tuck your toes under and lift it. Bring your fingertips a little bit further forward or use a block underneath your hands. You can hop or just lift the leg as you come to your fingertips, breathing in, lengthening. Feeling free to stay here or bend the standing leg. And exhale to straighten it, bringing the hands back together at the heart, flexing the foot. Our last balancing posture. And then step the foot to the front. Take a big breath in to extend your body. Interlace your fingers once more with your odd finger on top. Index fingers touching, arms extended to the ceiling, whole body long. Head coming through in between the arms. And as you breathe out, bending to your left. Inhale, come to center. And exhaling, bending to your right. And now keep that flowing once more as we come to the sides. As you breathe in, come to center. Release the interlace, have a soft sigh, and relax the arms down. Finding yourself again in an upright, tall stance. Opening the palms to the front, standing upright and tall. Inhale. Exhale. And as you next inhale, raise the arms. On the exhale, soften the knees, bring your hand through the midline and fold it forward. On the in-breath, there's a half lift. And on the out-breath, just placing your knees down onto the mat to all fours. Now, I will always, as I know some of you have hip or knee issues, give you an option on the back. I think you might be familiar with it, and yet I will still provide it for you. So for this shape, if you're staying on the front, bring your right knee behind your right wrist and let your foot come a little bit across to the other side of the mat, then extending the leg back. So right leg forward. If you find this is too challenging or there's even pain, roll onto your back, place your right ankle to your thigh and let your knee fall open. You could then either place a block under the foot or lift it off the floor entirely, hugging the legs in. Foot on the ground, of course, is fine too. And if you're on the front of the body, we will lift up onto our fingertips, taking a breath in to open the front and even lifting the gaze. And on the out breath, you might step onto your hands, onto your forearms, or even onto the forehead. As you allow yourself to be in either, I will talk a little bit about the one where you're on the front of the body. Make sure that the back leg here is fully extended, even through the ankle joint and into your toes. You can rest on the forearms, as I said, or all the way down to the floor. That's not important. But look toward balance in the pelvis. So neither are you sitting down, nor are you just hanging in there. Find a little bit of balance and some ease around your shoulders. You can then close the eyes and indulge in uncomfortable sensations. Again, a way of learning to observe yourself. Responses you might have in the mind is that could be within the fluctuations we have between the gunas. So notice if you're aiming to do more, if you're feeling very heavy, or if you're actually able to just observe yourself with a sense of detachment. That would be more Satvic. Let's step back onto forearms, onto hands, onto fingers. And if you're lying on your back, please do come around into a seated position as we will lower down to the right side of the buttocks and just swinging the left leg around so it touches to the inner thigh. Flexing the foot on your left leg, that's the long one. Come onto your fingertips and just lengthen your spine. If you know you need some support, rolled up end of the mat, block underneath your bottom might be good. And you could also bend the knee. Inhale here. And as you're exhaling, lean your belly towards your thighs. Adjust your hands and then maybe lowering the head as well. Please keep your foot in a strong flexion, just so we've got the leg aligned and we are able to direct the stretch to the back of the leg. But on the other hand, again, as it is a hold of a posture within its nature, it would be more tamasic, assisting you to ground and find stability. But in our minds, we hear often about the mobility. And with that, we have a tendency to attach to a certain outcome, such as holding onto the foot or lying flat over a straight leg. See if you can switch back to that more observational state of mind with the curiosity about yourself and the feelings and sensations in the posture. As you next inhale, lengthen your spine, coming halfway out. Take your left arm and bring it from the outside to the inside of the leg and guide your arm and leg against each other. If your shoulders sore, slide the right hand to the side of the waist and take a breath in to open just the shoulder out. If you can, extend your arm over the head, please do so. Have the palm of the hand then facing down. More important, to get that lift off the shoulder. So this turns from a forward bend into quite intense side bend. And if you leave your arm on the inside of the leg and move those two against each other, you'll find a deeper extension. As we very slowly release the arm and the shoulder down, use your fingertips to draw a large circle around you and let your hand end behind your back. And then breathe in to round yourself up to sit and to raise the left arm. And as you're exhaling, place the back of the hand against the knee and come straight into a twist. And choose to close your eyes. But more important here is that you're actually still grounded through your sit bones. If you would like to stay here, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, slide the hand behind you, a bit back, and ground the whole palm down. And as you take your next inhale, you might lift your hips and swing your arm over the head, extending the posture further. As you release down now, land on your knees and find again an all-four stance. So we will repeat. It is now the left knee that we bring behind the left wrist with the foot across to the opposite side of the mat. Again, extend the leg out. If you find yourself lying on your back, it's the same thing. It's now the left ankle that comes up. You can support the foot, leave it on the ground, or hug both legs in to go a little bit deeper. So all just different options. If you choose to practice here on the front, come to your fingertips now, opening the front body and raising your gaze. And with the exhalation, begin to lower on your hands, your forearms, or your forehead. First thing to look at in your mind's eye is the full extension of the long leg if you're on your front. So even adjusting a potential twist in your ankle joint. As you find yourself here, breathe. Breathe and be present, embracing all that you find that you like as much as that you do not like. Finding an acceptance and maybe even gratitude toward your body. As you allow yourself to breathe and hold. To release, step back up onto forearms, hands, and again, if you're lying on your back, please roll around and come to sit. On the front, come once more to your fingertips, extending. And as you breathe out, roll onto your left side. And then swing the leg out in front, so you're attaching the right leg to the sole of the foot. Flexing that foot, and maybe you need something again to cushion you up underneath your buttocks. Flex the foot on the straight leg and maybe start with the bend of the knee. Then be on your fingertips, lift up your spine, breathing in. And when you're exhaling, let your belly come forward over your thighs. Let your hands release. And maybe then the head release towards the knee. Noticing as you breathe here, and the main thing really to do is lengthening your out breaths. Please notice if that is a rather calming for you, which it could be, or if it is rather triggering. Where does it pull you? Emotionally, physically, and mentally. Does it pull you into a racing mind, Rajas? Does it let you feel heavy, tamas? Or are you right here in this moment, breathing, content with yourself? Sattva. To release, lengthen your spine forward, halfway out of the shape. Bring your right arm from the outside to the inside of the leg and create a light pressure between arm and leg. You can slide your hand into the side of the waist to roll the shoulder open for your side bend here. Or you could extend your arm over the head, the palm of the hand in that case facing downwards. Your choice. Keep a light pressure between the arm and the leg to enable the shoulder to be back, to create that beautiful length across your left side. To release, let your arm and shoulder roll in, bring your fingertips down and draw that huge circle around you until your fingers land behind your back. Then inhale to curl up and to raise the right arm. Before you place the back of the right hand against the outside of the knee for a twist. Make sure that you're solidly grounded into the mat with both of your sitting bones. Please feel welcome to stay here or to plant the hand down a little bit away from the body. As you could inhale to lift your hips and reach your right arm again over the head for a deeper body extension. From there, release down to sit. Bring your legs in, or you could also choose to sit on a block. We will sit here for a moment, so I invite you to find a quite comfortable seated position. I'm choosing a Japanese seat today because the hips feel open enough. And I will also use a block underneath my hips so that I can sit with less effort, less pressure on the knees too. Let your hands come to rest into your lap and lengthen up through the spine. If you find it's rather difficult, bring in a little bit of rounding and chest opening movement to accommodate for these light discomforts and maybe to get them into a more balanced state. Once you're sitting upright and tall, you could close the eyes. I'm pretty sure that most of you are familiar with what Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breathing is. Yet if you are not, please do keep the eyes open and have a look. I will use my right hand in the ring finger and thumb. Fold the little finger into the palm of the hand. There's multiple variations. If you have your own, you can stay with that. I will place my index and middle finger over my third eye point on the forehead between the eyebrows. And I will use my thumb to close off the right nostril, my ring finger to close off the left. I don't do that here at the bottom of the nose. I do that in the little hollow that is there. Also an option to place the palm of the opposite hand underneath the elbow to support the technique. Let's breathe in through both nostrils. Close the right, exhale through your left. Inhaling through your left nostril. Open the right, close the left, breathe out your right side. Inhaling right. Open your left, close the right, exhaling left. That was one cycle. Inhaling left. Change your fingers, exhaling right. Inhaling right nostril. Change your fingers, exhaling left. Now continue on. Inhaling left. Exhaling right. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Please continue for a little bit longer. Always inhaling through one side, exhaling through the other, and then breathing in through that side again and exhale again through the other. Find your own rhythm, keep the breath slow, deep, but don't strain. Go for one more round after your current one. And once you've completed that, rest the hands down, keep the eyes closed just for another moment. Feeling in. Nadishodhana is meant to bring balance in, balancing left-right side of the brain. Overall balance as we change sides. So maybe you've got that sense, and as we did that over the left nostrils, also got a calming effect. You may even keep your eyes closed if you know where everything is around you as you come to lie down for Shavasana. So finding your way down onto your back. If you like to use a bolster, chop that underneath your knees. If you don't have one, rolled up blankets are nice, or a pile of cushions. Preferably resting on the back. But if you don't have these little helpers for support and your back is sore, instead of your legs out long, you can step your feet out wide and let the knees drop in. You might choose to snuggle your shoulders a little bit under, so you're feeling a light sense of broadening in front of the shoulders and the chest. Palms of the hands quite naturally rolled up towards the ceiling. If you don't have a light cushioning underneath the head, I suggest a very subtle chin tuck to lengthen and come back to the natural curve in the back of your neck. And then become still. As you become still, the breath will be the only thing moving beside organs like the heart. And as usual, put your focus on this movement of your breath. You could choose to listen to a few more words about sattva, which might lead you into visualization. Sattva is a state of harmony, balance, joy, and intelligence. It reduces both rajas and tamas, thus making liberation possible. The essence of sattva is to act as a transparent pane of glass. You can allow light in to reveal the operations of the mind and nature. This light is once conscious awareness. Sattva is not enlightenment, but it unveils what is true and real. It shows itself as beauty, balance, and inspiration. Sattva also promotes life, energy, health, and contentment. Cultivating sattva means making choices that elevate awareness and foster unselfish joy. In this way, sattva is the principle of yoga. While you're resting in Shavasana today, you could choose to play with the idea of bringing in the light as you're inhaling and releasing anything dark or overly active. The breath will, however, remain soft and gentle. No control over the breath. Only visualizing light coming in on the inhale and releasing the fire, the cool and dark as you breathe out. Don't hold on to anything that you're letting go. Just notice, what is it? Let it be. And if your mind chooses to wander, simply bring it back to breath and light as it flows in. If you've chosen to work with the visualization of the light, let that go, but stick with the awareness of your breath flowing in and out. Start to deepen your breath. Invite a tiny bit of rajas into your quite heavily rested body. By bringing back some movement through fingers and toes. Keeping everything in moderation as you might extend your breath, extend your movements, or have a stretch. And when you're ready, joining me in a seated position. Bringing your hands to touch in front of the heart, the thumbs lightly to the sternum, eyes closed or gaze steady. We'll chant 3 Oms followed by a moment of silence. Let's exhale to synchronize the breath. Inhaling for the first Om. Connecting in your mind to the joyfulness that lies within us. Tap into harmony and inner balance. Extend those qualities to each other as we lightly bow. Namaste.